And welcome back to Austin, Texas, as we're in the decider best of threes, and it's G2 versus Liquid. We just had the first map wrap up in this fight. Some very nice play from Liquid. It was G2 who scraped together the 16-13 win to move up 1-0 in the series. I'm Dust. With me is Launders, and our next map is Train. And this feels like it weighs even more heavily towards G2 when you look at all the data that we have.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think what we're seeing is just a lot of potential for Liquid. It seems like they're not quite there, but at the same time doing some interesting stuff, some unique stuff, and clearly have like a lot of moving parts where they're staying coordinated, making adjustments on the fly, and staying very coordinated. But then also the difference between yesterday and today is that everybody is kind of on point today, whereas like not just Nitro is pitching in, although he was a huge factor in how close that scoreline got.
That CZ play single-handedly almost got Liquid back into a place where they might fight for an overtime, and he just played really great. And then, like you said, they all did. But now we're on Train. This is a map that G2's been really hot online. I think they're 6-2. They lost it the one time they played it offline to FaZe. I believe that was at Star Ladder. The crazy thing about Liquid, though, is they've only played Train twice, period, since Stanislaw joined the team. And that was like 2 or so months ago that Stanislaw joined the team. So they've only played Train twice since Stan. And those were also the only 2 times they played it, period, since Twitch joined, and that was twice at Summit. Now, one of those games was a 1-16 loss to Gambit, and the other game, I believe, was a win to Optic, like 16-10 or 16-12, something like that. But before those 2 games, the Liquid team, period, hadn't played Train since November. So there is not a lot of Train play on this Liquid team. So yeah, when you calculate all that, it looks like G2 comes out the clear favorite.
Why do you think they let that slip?
Well, I think it's because they had the ban overpass, right? I mean, I was talking to Zeus yesterday, and he said the one map that they hadn't really practiced yet since Twitch joined the team, because they just haven't had the time, was overpass. So that's definitely seems like it's going to have to be their permaban option, unless they're up against a team who also doesn't want to play it. But they know G2 are capable of overpass, so they had to take overpass out, and that means that a vulnerability like Train comes through. But you know, for all we know, since Liquid are willing to play it at Summit, maybe there's something there. Maybe they can bring something out. But yeah, this map favors G2 even more than Cobblestone did, in my opinion.
Yeah, to be slightly fair to them, I feel like Gambit's T side on Train is amazing. So obviously we saw a long bout between them and Heroic, where I'm not sure, they were pretty fairly matched on both sides, but overall had a lot of cool tactics and stuff to show on their Train. But G2 is going to be a whole nother beast, and Liquid are going to be probably a little bit worried about having to do this right now, where Shox has just gotten an opening kill. Our man falling back has gotten caught on some clipping at Ivy, which is very scary, and Shox has the opportunity to go for another kill or kind of just come back in group. I'm not sure even what's the best option for him, but he's holding a rotate right now, so they know there's maximum 3 people alive, most likely 1 inner, and Stanislaw gets shot down to 21 HP. Oh, and Z, but they're actually all dropping ladder and die. Oh my God, what just happened?
I have no idea. What is this? How quickly things turn.
Oh no, they gushed Stan and Z. They had they had a kill at Ivy for free. Shox holding Ivy. I mean, I was writing them off already, and then they just drop into the meat.
It's just, when you fall down and you're thinking, okay, maybe 1 guy's here, we'll trade him surely. Nope, just 2 guys in your face, hit every single shot they take.
I'm not sure why. I think G2 waited long enough that they thought Liquid are going to go stack inner. They're like, all right, now let's just hit ladder. And, congratulations, you played yourself. But, wow.
That was something. So we are going to see G2 here just on upgraded pistols and armor, except for Kenny S, who's just going to have the Deeg and the smoke, as we do see them lining up some utility over here towards Inner Hall. Saw MBK lining up on the wall here, so not sure if they're looking to just run some type of quick execute with the few smokes and flashes that they have. They're trying to see if they can't get a bomb plant. Usually Inner's a popular choice, but you see a lot of people trying to actually pour out of Outer, in fact, and Ali's going to be able to get up in heaven. Nitro just here holding outside of Ivy right now. Going to go ahead and find the first frag. Finds Kenny S as well, so far cleaning up is Liquid. A scout headshot there from JDM at close range. Follows it up with a second frag as well. And so it's all on Shox, and he won't find much. So Liquid, they go up 2-0.
Yeah, very clean. Very clean. Blessed, fortunate to be in this position to be able to just clean up like they did, but losing one player is really nice. So that means that G2 are going to have to, you know, kill probably 4 players to be able to force a rebuy from Liquid after a rifle win, which is still up in the air, whether or not they'll get that in the first place. Wow. Good nade on Shocks with that Deagle, wants to go for that Z pick. It's not going to happen. JDM has his side turned, I think, just to play anti-flash, but peeks out with Stam, which is a very interesting setup. Oh,
look at this. JDM already moving up here with the SMG, doing a little bit of chip damage and falling back. Nitro, in the meantime, did go ahead and finish off Shocks. Yes, Stanislav up here as well. I will give, that's one thing Liquid has. Stanislav's probably one of the best inner players we have in North America on this map on the CT side, so that could be a factor later on here as we just see a quick mopping up by Liquid to get the 3-0 start. And this is definitely a good look for them on a map that they don't have a lot of experience on together.
That's a good point. Yeah, just one more for the resume, right? Solo site player, one of the definitely most difficult, most demanding, most important jobs that you could have on your team. That also does say a lot about him. And maybe the fact that they are starting on CT's side could be, I don't know, just maybe a better window into how well they'll do overall. But it was their CT side that they did have a problem on versus Gambit, where they just got absolutely wrecked. They were caught in a position, and maybe they could use that game tape. Maybe they've really studied that and tried to adopt train a little bit. But a huge problem for them was they were just getting faked out so many times that their rotates. They ended up rotating so many times that it would be like almost 5 CTs coming through the same choke point because of how much they move around.
As we do see G2 onto their first buy now. AKs across the board, no ops in play. Again, you could see double op later on. That's something that they have. But meanwhile, JDM, he's going to find that first pick and enter actually onto NBK. So G2 already having to fight from a disadvantage early in the round as they have a lot of presence over here towards Ivy. Triple Ivy is definitely a setup that some teams like to go to at different points in time, but now they have to do it with only 4 players total, and they have to worry about aggression as Peter comes up, enter, and grabs a kill, and there's also a player up close at Ivy. It's going to be Twist. He does go down, however, and so that means G2 does actually get a little bit of space over here towards the back halls to work with, but it's about trying to see, can they get in the CT spawn? Can they press back into the outer yard through the lanes? Liquid just has to try to counter that as best that they can, and so far, not too shabby as Nitro is going to find a kill. Kitty holds off Stanislav's rotate from inner. He may even be able to get behind here in CT, but JDM waiting for this, but he's going to get pushed in. He has to pull out that Tech 9. He switches quickly enough. He's holding it. Oh, maybe he gets caught with the nade in his hands. He has to just try to run away and get back on the other side of the Z train while Kenny S and company start moving in, and they do headshot him. And so now the inner bomb site's basically been taken from back halls into CT spawn. But we do have the rotate from Elige. Kenny S, though, more than aware of it. The bomb is getting planted this whole time. Damage coming in here from Elige. That nade might do some work as well. Not quite enough, though, as Elige still trying to see if he can find something with this M4. Meanwhile, Shocks takes out Nitro, so Elige now has to do it alone. Kenny S a little bit low on health, but Shocks fully healthy. Elige trying to creep up the ladder, see if he can find a new angle of approach. Does some damage, but not enough. And there you have it. G2 put their first round on the board.
Wow. I want to say that was really badly played by JDM, who got caught in a position where he didn't want to take on the first guy jumping across, Kenny S, which is fine. Kenny S did a great job baiting out that shot, but then having he fell back, like, he only fell back a little bit and then pulled out his Tech 9, held that for so long, and then whipped out his nade at a pretty inopportune moment, and then jumped up to fight him in Z instead of taking a passive spot and hoping that his teammates can handle the rotate into outside if there was one by themselves. And gave Kenny S an op, which is like just, you know, you don't want to do that.
Indeed. Of course, Liquid able to buy right back up because of what they were piecing together in those first 3 rounds. And G2 actually has to do a little bit of rebuying, which actually forces Body onto a Galil and NBK on just to a UMP. But again, we know how damaging those guns can be as NBK looking to just kind of make sure brown halls are clear, try to maybe push back any aggressions. Got Shocks with him to do that as well. Meantime, you have a little bit of presence being established by G2 at Ivy at the same time.
First kill comes out. JDM making up for a little guff that he had just now, taking out Shocks. And Apex, look at that. Clean 1-tap does kill Nitro, but at the cost of 88 health. So, not for free at all. And Twist has actually found a way to regress into an aggressive, into just a more advanced angle. Flat one in the corner. Kenny's going to hear this. Not much he can do. So might kind of pre-fire this.
Ooh.
Actually heard Twist jumping away. Twist knows exactly what just happened, though. He's heard that scope for sure. Yeah.
Does a lot of damage and forces Kenny S out. Apex and Kenny S both low on HP at this point, and they're a man down. Apex trying to see if he can creep out T-Con. There is one CT right here in Sandwich. He may sneak up on Nitro and get a free kill. He's getting right behind him, gonna blindside him there. So there's the headshot frag for Apex that evens things up into a 3-on-3. 20 seconds left on the clock. He catches that rotation from Stan through Z as well, so great work from Apex. And this is opening things up for G2 now as it's Liquid on the back foot. They have to play from behind all of a sudden in this retake. With JDM's op, he does have a kit. Twist with the M4, still full HP, trying to approach from Ivy, but gets caught by Body, but it doesn't matter. Twist is going to land the mark, and so now it's back into a 2 versus 2 at this point. Low HP, though, on Twist. JDM trying to hunt for things with this op, but it's not going to happen. He's just going to stick to the fuse. He's going to stay on it. Someone's going to peek, though, but he's going to be able to react. That's a great shot, and Twist clears out Kenny S, and so Liquid, they'll take the round. Well done by JDM and Twist there in the end to find that retake.
Actually fantastic. I thought this was going to be a round where G2, with 2 players who are extremely low in a 3v3, just clean it up, and then you go, oh my god, Liquid, they're falling apart already. But that was a really good recovery. I mean, they really definitely just landed on their feet. Honestly, I felt like Stan's rotate in was a little bit careless coming in through Z right after that smoke hit plumed. Not exactly knowing that someone was going to be on top of a train, but even still, they had not having the knowledge of who was watching the smoke, I think made that whole thing a little bit risky. And it's kind of like when you aren't comfortable on a map, then you aren't going to trust yourself to retake or play the long con, and instead we'll try to take these little risks, and that can kind of be the thing that loses you the game versus teams who are a little bit more seasoned, veteran teams. Was that a faster than normal run boost? That was like,
that seemed insane.
Oh, I guess most of the time people just jump on ahead and then jump across as opposed to run.
That was going to be like some crazy skeet shooting for Twist. If he would have hit that one, that would have been just unreal.
Oh, that would have been so sick. Oh, man.
So it is G2 just working with some regulated pistols and the AK on the shocks. Double op set up for Liquid this time around. Twist will be toting the second one. Every now and then you'll see Nitro use second op on Outer, but Twist, since he's joined this team, he's been the one to do it from Ivy whenever they have run into run the double op. And here comes that heavy Ivy presence from G2, in fact. It's the triple push out. They're going to be able to use that smoke to get away from Nitro and get into this outer bomb site, and they take Twist down in the process. So that op is out of the equation, and so now G2 just swarming all over the yard. They're finding all the frags, and they will get that bomb plant. Kenny S, in the meantime, picks up one of those fallen ops, and maybe now he's going to be able to put it into his team's own use as he's watching these back calls. But Nitro, nice little headshot there, gives them maybe a way back into this. It is a 3-on-4. But time is ticking away. Luckily, they do have that kit on Nitro and JDM, so that gives them a little bit more time to work with and figure things out as they slowly find the kills. Apex out, but Shock's alive for one. JDM responds. It's now a 2-on-2.
Oh my god.
Great work from Stanislav. Now it's going to be an MPK.
And he's going to get off. That's it. They get the defuse. What? No way they won that retake. What? JDM is on the come up, dude. This guy is that's crazy.
Thank you for that. We appreciate that. The like Twist reaction comes so far after that. Yeah. There's just no way he was getting that one. And yeah, like you said, great work from JDM. It felt like G2 had a lot going there. I think the key was that Kenny S goes down so quick. Like, he has that op that he picked up, and he could have made a play, but Nitro hits like an incredible headshot. And then, like you said, JDM's op just coming through. This is great stuff from Liquid on this CT side train. They're really giving G2 a lot of problems. And then, of course, this was G2's map pick, and there's certainly the data supports them on this one, but Liquid are fighting against that very well as they have a pretty good lead going for them.
I'm not even sure what the insistence is about getting someone to the opposite side of Ivy every single time. I mean, I guess it makes it so that as an operator you can only hold it from one angle safely, and then the other one you have to kind of split up your attention between. But yeah, that makes sense. You could also, it also becomes a funnel for nades though, as you know, as something is expected. Like, oh, they're always going to throw someone over here. A Molotov and a couple of grenades become a lot more useful than when people weren't sure if you're going to make that play. So, but it's not being abused. So,
heavy Ivy push again, but they just line up for JDM and Twist. Had some easy kills to get the bomb down, and this triple Ivy play has been smashed.
Wow. And
so there you have it, 6-1 for Liquid. They're really pulling out ahead now.
I love that buddy system in both instances. They just got on the face of that execute. They weren't like, you can come up Ivy now. They were like, we're going to peek right now with this op and this rifle to support, and they catch them at the perfect moment. I think even if they were farther back, they would have been able to at least get one kill. And up at E-Box running up the wall, they were like, we're stopping you from coming out of T-Quan. There was just no chance that they had to get in the site, which is great.
Yeah, G2's only had, I feel like, one full buy this entire game, or you know, 8 rounds into it now. So just kind of seeing the economic problems that they've run into and the dominance that Liquid has displayed. Of course, it's been a couple of close rounds, but nonetheless, it's Liquid steering out in front, and now Nitro and Elige lining up that scoreboard here to perhaps put this one away as well. It's just going to be Kenny S and Apex, just the Deagles, and Elige so far having no issue dealing with it, as it's just leaving Kenny S by himself in a 1v3. We know what he's capable of, though. We certainly could see him pop off, so you got to keep your eyes on him. Maybe the 1Ds are going to be real, as that bomb's actually down over towards T-Connector, so he has to walk all the way back over there to grab the bomb if he even wants to go for the plant. Right now, Liquid are just kind of sticking together. They don't want to give him free one-on-ones all across the map. But he might find one in Z, but just can't react quick enough. Peter, easy kill. Now it's 7-1 Liquid.
I love how we see Zeus just as the 7-1 scoreline hits. Once again,
you just can't escape the memes.
You just can't escape the memes.
They are too strong.
What do G2 do? Turning up the pace, splitting, taking, doing a lot of things at Ivy, which is a critical component of good T-side on train. They are turning up the pace. They have tried an inner hit, but and you know what? They've come close to winning, but Liquid have been fantastic on these like unwinnable retakes, which is nuts. And Twist taking a real, oh, I guess he was just about to get that flash, but it was a moment too late.
Yeah, they were really trying to see if they couldn't counter that run boost that we keep seeing happen. Maybe he thought that would give him a little bit of extra time, maybe catch them while they're trying to set up the run boost to jump across and maybe make a play happen. Like you said, that flash was supposed to be there to follow up as well, but just didn't quite have the exact timing. This game is, of course, one of milliseconds at times, and that peak just happens to come a little bit earlier than he hoped for. And now G2 finally have a 5-on-4 situation. It feels like it's been a while since we've been able to say that. Yeah,
that is a big deal. Game becomes very T-sided all of a sudden. And, oh, wow, that was quick. 2 ops left on Liquid, 1 Stanislaw and one with JDM. And
next up the bat here.
Next up to bat here. Let me give it a shot. He's not going to... Kenny S doesn't have the attention span to sit and hold this angle for that long. He wouldn't still be here. Oh my god! Elige making a play, coming up the ladder with 2 clean headshots. I mean, this is a 2v3 situation. Outside control has been taking the bomb, is in a good place, but it is not an inner hit. And it is 2 CTs over here on the retake. I think at the very least right now, they want to try to do as much damage as possible. Yeah. If they get a kill, all of a sudden there's a potential to actually win this. They've got the utility to do it, but as of right now, you would have to assume G2 have just so many advantages.
And they're not going to commit to this. That's for sure. They're going to boost JDM up, see if he can catch someone off guard. There is one player right above them in heaven that they don't know about just yet, but if they can't find the kill soon...
He's going to go up heaven.
Yeah, he's going to go check for it. They do have the kits. It gives him a little bit more time. He does come up there trying to do another ladder shenanigan, but it's not going to come into fruition. He will just back down. They'll save these guns, and G2, they will get a second round on the board. Finally, it feels like it's been forever.
Yeah, it certainly has been, especially for how close they've come so many times. And just like that, Kenny S, just, you know, he's thought of as an overly aggressive or just a crazy aggressive operator, and that is just so good at doing it that he can hit his shots. But look, he was just extremely patient, and that was obviously a fantastic flick. Like, just dropped the hammer on Twist right there. But then holding this angle for a good, like, 25 seconds into his next kill, and then securing the round.
So G2, after a little bit of a drought there, I think they lost like 3 or 4 in a row, they finally get another round out there. And we'll see if they can follow it up with something else. Kenny S will still have that op. MBK just on the Galil. Again, money's still very low for G2, so they can't afford to rebuy AKs a whole lot. They want to have that utility in play, or head armor, or any of those nice things. But Twist through the smoke takes down Apex. It's a great opening kill here for Liquid, as we also see Liquid using this to get very aggressive on T-Connector, really getting that forward positioning, and they're even maybe considering pressing into it. They don't see anything, so they go ahead and start backing off again towards Olaf and towards the ladder room. So they have a lot of good positioning now on the CT side for quicker rotates to flanks and such.
Yeah, Alicia's been really good in ladder. It's just important that his teammate's floating, that his teammate that is floating a lot is a little bit more careful about that, because if like Kenny S was in T-Con, for example, and he'd be able to hold an angle eventually, he would have crossed by that would have given up the 5v4. Whereas there are just a number of setups you can do 5v4 that will basically guarantee you a crossfire, like a 1-for-1 trade, continue that man advantage that you can't do 5v5 that you should be trying to do on CT side as soon as possible. Set up in those and then just wait. You don't have to move at all, really.
Yeah, so we see them gathering up over here towards the inner halls with their remaining players. We see the smoke coming down on the sidewalk, though. Stanislaw holding that angle from Pop, and it seems like they might even think about going down ladder. I know Kenny was checking it out there with the op for a second. They will come down. Elise does get caught by NBK, but Nitro is going to be here standing, waiting for this push to come in. Lines up a couple of nice frags. Body fights back, though, with a pair of his own, and now it's all going to be on Body, in fact, as it's 2 people up for Liquid. He's running out of time, only 8. Now 7 seconds, going to go for the play. They could just push through and stop it, and they do run in. He does get the bomb off, but no chance at trying the clutch from that. And so it is going to be another round out there for Liquid. Money reset for G2. They do get the plant, which helps a little bit, but certainly running out of funds. Yeah,
he was fortunate to plant there. I mean, that's just a little bit too much time taken to secure that frag, but man, I feel like JDM is just going to win this map for Liquid. What the kills that he's getting are just so important. And a couple of them being the retake frags and also just kind of harder to do flicks. And he's nailing every single one.
And that's good to see, right? He's definitely had his struggles. There's no doubt about it. Even yesterday on Inferno, we saw him, you know, having those moments where he was kind of missing shots you'd expect him to hit, and it just felt like his confidence was rattled. But he certainly popped off here in this best of, particularly on this map. He's been very effective for Liquid. He's been a big part of this. But Kenny S, as I say that, with his op on the other side of the map, is going to find first blood here, as it is going to be twist out over towards Ivy. So this gives G2 a little bit more breathing room, as of course last time they had a 5-on-4, they followed it up pretty well for a victory. So
was Twist opping? Why did he do that? Why was
he was opping, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, they're just not recovering it. They also just lost a very important Ivy player and are now subject to G2's rotations. G2's could throw a fake anywhere, the smallest fake, out the windows into outside and then hit enter, and Liquid would bite on that 100%. Stanislaw's going to throw a good Molotov, and JDM's going to off the cross, going to look for more kills. That's the second frag on the round. One player at upper here. He's going to spot the head of him. Doesn't actually take him out, but I was almost as excited as the crowd, as it seemed like he did. And yeah, just wow.
This is the JDM that you want to see if you're a fan of Liquid or just an NA fan, with that vintage op boom. Don't see that too often.
It's not cheap anymore.
So Liquid is just absolutely dominating this half right now. JDM, again, a big part of it as we flip through this nice little series of frags. And G2 now just have to work with pistols.
Yeah. Oh, were they able to plant there? Yeah. Did they just plant? Yeah, they did. They got 2 plants in a row. And still weren't able to buy. Unfortunately, aren't able to get almost anything. Have spent, instead of a half buy, are deciding to go for deagles. Another long angle map that 1Deags can be very useful on. It's a situation where you just don't really want to peek Ivy. I mean, it can be tempting to want to take a fight like this, but then, you know, you're playing a bunch of insane French players who love using the deagles and taking these one-on-one engagements.
Yes, G2 will need to get something going here soon. They have a couple of rounds, but they're on these little islands in the ocean that is Liquid on this CT side. When you look at the scoreboard, 9-2. Dominant stuff here, despite the opening pick from Shox with the deagle. Liquid still retain the man advantage, and obviously a massive amount of firepower in their favor in this one as they look to approach double digits here and now. This is great to see them playing like this against G2 on Train. Of course, they lost that first match, so they need this one to stay in the series. This is not a bad way to kick things off to try to do that.
Certainly, T-side Train is going to be the hard part, though. I wouldn't say Liquid are out of the woods quite yet. But obviously, you couldn't ask for a better start than this, especially confidence-wise, knowing that your upper is doing everything in his power to make sure that you aren't losing rounds, that you can win. And look at the mood in Liquid right now. Ziz is happy. He's not very frantic. He's not like, all right, this is next, this is next. He's seeming very calm and enthusiastic about the way Liquid are playing. So that instills faith in me.
Yes, this is one of the best buys that G2's probably had all game. They've only had maybe 2 or 3 of these where they actually are able to get AKs across the board and actually have a decent amount of utility to work with. And they've never been even close to affording a double op on T-side, which is something they do like to do. So that's never been on the table for them. Their economy is really limiting what pages they can go to in their playbook there. But we'll see what they can work with in a round like this one where they have, you know, still a fair amount to work with. Looks like they want to try to get very assertive inside this outer bomb site here. All the smokes and utility go down. They're looking for entries, but Elige at the back of the bomb train here with the AK going to find a nice headshot. Quickly transitions to heaven. Gets caught, though, as he's trying to get up the ladder by Shox and Body. But look at this flank from JDM on ladder. They have no idea it's happening, and he's going to be able to get a nice kill. Looking for another on top. The T-connector train just misses, but is able to get away, stay alive, and retain a man advantage here for Liquid as Shox and Kenny S have to play from behind in this round. A round they really need because it's starting to get out of control right now, the lead that Liquid has.
Yeah. JDM has made a big rotate, it seems, back to Z to make sure that this trade is possible. I'm not sure exactly where he's going in this circumstance. I would have liked him to go Z. That would have been really cool because you wouldn't expect there to be 2 people there for sure, where G2 are certainly going to be trying to lurk on one person, and we've got a man in Ivy who's getting closed in on right now. Kenny S has him to his right. That's Twist. He's going to see that gun barrel. It's going to be certainly an easy kill. Really didn't want to peek too much into that shot, and Twist freaked out, but could not flick the right direction, get that wall bang, and leaves now Liquid, his teammates, in a 2v2 situation. No one better to have than JDM right now, though. Even with this op in retake, somehow it's been ferocious.
Yeah, he's been on fire lately, so we'll see if he can go ahead and make it happen. He's with Stanislaw up against Kenny S and Shox still. So he wants to go ahead and try to check into heaven here with that P250. No one is actually there, but they need to make sure. And as he comes down, Stanislaw goes out. He'll smoke the bomb, but no even chance to think about going after it. And Shox is right there to pounce. And so that's finally another round on the board from G2, a third on the board. But again, they've been so spread out. They've never really been chained together.
That's the kind of round I would definitely like look at a demo for and just like watch what Kenny S's info was and how he was scouring the map. Like, he finds Twist in this situation because he was patient and because he walked a lot and because he knew a certain amount of things. And, whoa, wow, that was a really nice shot. But that's something that's worth another watch, just to kind of figure out the psychology of the situation. Elige, 2 players jump down ladder. One of them's an op, one of them's an AK, and with his you know, $1,200 weapon is able to kill them both, no problem.
Luckily, Apex at least able to get something out of that as he's able to catch Nitro on the fallback. Or Elige, rather. As we do see Apex just moving forward, kind of slithering in between 2 CTs who have not yet detected how far he's been able to get in on this. Gonna just absolutely blindside Nitro. Luckily, JDM is quick to respond to keep the man advantage for Liquid, but Apex almost broke through there and caused quite the ruckus. But this bomb is still down over towards T-spawn. Shox has to pick it back up as he does collect that op from Kenny S.
Liquid really have bad spots right now. I don't know if... oh, okay. Well, Twist is what they're back, and he's not exposed to ladder or T-con, and JDM is able to watch T-con and is safe from ladder. So there's that. They only just can't watch ladder, so that's not as bad as it could be. But, oh, Twist, I think, got a bit distracted and taken out by Body, who I think it was Shox's smoke at sandwich so that Body could escape. Really good 2v3. This will be another one definitely you'd want to watch back to see how they controlled rotations. But now JDM, work on his hands, is in a great spot to cut terrorists off from exiting Ivy, but the sound of his scope should be a dead giveaway. I wonder why he's being as aggressive as he is right now. Close by the box now, and they just come out.
Yes, they will go ahead and get this bomb planted. Smoke on ladder, but it's going to be Stanislaw coming from Z instead. So 10 seconds left on the clock. Shox has to go for the plant. He will put it down. This gives Stanislaw room to just kind of start sliding in. Oh, Shox backs off, though, with the op over towards T-con. Peter continues to creep up the ladder.
Oh, my God.
The long con.
What a beast.
The stones on this guy.
Does he hear this? Does he hear this? Oh, he didn't. I don't know. That's a tough call. I don't know if he feels like he can defuse here, but he's aware of this ladder and instantly calls that out. Wow, what a monster. What a monster. The 10-second defuse as well. And it seemed like such a godly play from Shox.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I think what happens there is Stanislaw, whenever he goes and he checks Olaf and Shox is there, he's like, where could he possibly have gone after he planted? And all of a sudden, as time kind of ticks away, he's like, maybe he did, in fact, go ladder this whole time. And he was right. It's excellent read from Stanislaw. That's exactly the guy you want in clutches on this Liquid team. Like, he's just so cerebral in how he approaches the game. Even before he was an in-game leader, he was always credited as being, like, very intelligent in his decision-making. Even, like, when Dats was an in-game leader on you know, teams like Conquest, which became Optic, you know, when you talk to Dats, you always credit Stan as being a really intelligent player, and that was well thought out by him to clutch it.
Excellent stuff, and I mean, it's not like they needed these rounds. 11-3 right now. Shox comes out angry out of T-Con, knocks Nitro right off his train and his Fomnus and his High Horse. And here it is. Now Shox, another entry. JDM and Opera has been taken out, and he is really mad right now. He's not happy about the fact that they have just blown so many rounds, a lot of them in retake and clutch situations. And so he's taking matters into his own hands with these entries. Absolute monster, 3rd kill on the board, and there is just Stanislaw remaining.
And that's why Shox is so revered, because, again, normally he's more of a lurk type guy, but all of a sudden he'll flip a switch, and he's more than capable of just grabbing the game by the reins and saying, okay, I'm going to unleash myself and just go out here and make a play. And that's a great hat-trick round he has for himself here to give G2 a chance to close out the half with another round on the board, and that's going to happen. That's going to be round number 4 for G2. So 11-4 will be the final score, but Liquid certainly well out in front. But G2 now, they'll get to play some CT side train. And if they can win the pistol particularly, they can get right back into this game. I mean, yeah, Liquid will be happy with what they've done, but they're certainly not, you know, guaranteed this win because of this.
Yeah, I'm surprised by how much Liquid's CT side of train has been improved. It's actually pretty crazy how much it's improved with just probably a little bit of online practice. And I just saw Machine's nipples.
That's okay.
Machine. That's fine. Now all I can see is nipples. It's burned into my retinas.
I'm sure chat's jealous.
Yeah, probably are. HD. I saw them in HD.
Source quality.
All the areola.
As we should be getting live for this second half pretty soon. Again, if you're just joining us, G2 did take the first map on Cobblestone, 16-13, quite the game. Now we're in map 2. This was G2's pick, but Liquid have done well to challenge them on home turf, so to speak, as they're up 7 rounds after their CT side. Again, Liquid must win this map to force the 3rd, which would be nuke if we can get there.
And it is kind of nuts. I mean, G2 would have had a better half if not for that pistol where they all ended up dropping down ladder. They would have had another 3 rounds. It would be just much closer. It still would have been impressive from Liquid, but now it's a whole new ball game. And they've actually decided to go down ladder quickly themselves. Well, quickly in the first place, as G2 maybe should have done that themselves. Smokes come out, and Shox has had clear vision on the T-Con cross, but no one's actually come out that way. It's been a lot of ladder presence, and there's one late. Shox pushes up, but the bomb has been planted already, and Twist also secures an after plant frag. Twist with the second. Shox to flank. Coming up the back at E-Box, compromising a lot of locations right now, getting 2, leaving Nitro in a 1-on-2 situation with a Molotov. His teammates haven't delayed long enough, I don't think, for this Molly to be that useful, but might get blocked off very soon, and it's forcing them to try to attack him. He's going to take on this battle. It's actually going to go up the ladder. What a move. How is this going to work out, though? They have to defuse the bomb, and he's going to push out. This is a great 1v2, and that was it. He's just secured it. There's no... Oh, my...
Oh,
please.
no, not...
Okay, all right. Yeah, amazing 1v2. Fantastic. Well played. I think he was spinning on the bomb or looking the other way or something like that, but really forcing his hand with that Glock.
Yeah, so people will just jack up their sims really quick with like a DPI button and just go nuts and just try to hope that you can't hit them. It's actually really annoying.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't really be a part of the game, to be honest, as that could just be critical that can happen. But Nitro waits it out, gets it done. 12-4 for Liquid now, and that pistol round victory seemed to be G2's way back in, and it's been shut out. And so now they have to play this game in like ridiculous mode. Like, I don't even know. It's not even hard mode anymore. It's just way out there.
Yeah.
As Liquid draw together a couple of more frags in this round. 4-on-3 already up against these P250s and 5.7s and such, as Twist connects on the Kenny S as well. So this outer yard is really all but taken. Only Shox remains, and well, he's not there very long, as JDM will find him with the UMP. And so 13-4 is on its way.
Man, this is nuts. This is crazy. Hugely in part due to the pistol. Loved how JDM had the initiative go up the ladder in that situation. Or sorry, Nitro.
It's like he wanted to make sure he was going to lure them all the way in first before he went up. So, I mean, he just timed that out so well.
Yeah.
And he's had a great game. 17 kills onto him. Obviously, JDM's been the big highlight moment, particularly given when in the context of how he's been lately in other games. It's good to see him up against a solid team in G2, having a great time here on Train. And, I mean, really no one from G2's getting going, to be quite honest. I mean, it's really been an off game for them, with the exception of maybe Shox had, you know, a pretty decent half in the first, but...
I wonder if Body wants to actually just take that fight. I guess there would be more people pushing him behind them that would dissuade him from peeking more. G2 need 3 to close this out and bring it to our final map. Nuke, wow. Actually potential for a 2-1, but not in the way that anyone expected. Taking Train of all things. But I like what Adren said about this, that it felt like they could win on each of the maps, which has now become evident that that's actually true.
Yeah, this is a bit scary for G2 because everyone felt that they would be first seed out of their group, and everyone thought this was their tournament to lose, and now all of a sudden, Liquid's might force a third map on them in an elimination best-of-3, going into a map that both teams are comfortable on. So it could be a bit of an issue, but we'll get there when we get there. Right now, it's about finishing off Train, as Liquid will find their 14th round. Again, G2 not putting too much into this. They're really waiting for this next round. That's where they'll have kind of their last stand, so to speak, before Liquid get map point. It's all going to ride on that.
Something just dawned on me. That Liquid are a Canadian team, aren't they? Twist is Canadian,
Twist
right?
Canadian.
Yeah, Stanislaus Canadian, and...
everyone else is American.
Oh, okay. Well, that was close. I thought, okay, yeah, maybe it is that.
They can get like the little half flag.
I'm down with that. I'll take that. I should have one for myself.
So here it is. Here's G2's stand.
And just as you mentioned, they like to double up on most, if not all, maps on all sides. Good opportunity to do it. Train is just a map that a lot of teams will do this on. Great that they have 2 oppers that are really good.
Yeah, indeed. As again, a lot of people get to play the same spots on this team as they did on past teams, with the exception of MBK. He used to be an inner player. That's what Body plays, so that means he's had to move to outer. And so that's where there's a little bit of a differentiation, something that new that G2 has to do. And my goodness, JDM.
You never get killed on that shoulder peek.
Unreal stuff. But luckily for G2, Shox is here, and he's hungry for frags with this AWP. He's already found one, but he can't get that second. Elise takes him out. But luckily, Kenny S with the recovery here with the op. He's making plays. He's dancing around on the ladder. And there's Apex. He finds Stanislaus. Now it's all on JDM 1v3. This would be ridiculous. G2 should have this. We'll see what JDM can do, though. He's getting pressed in by so many different angles. There's no way he can grab it. Apex gets the kill. And you hope that this is that first movement that G2 needs to make towards coming back.
Super sick recovery and great shots from Kenny S. That was the only reason they were able to hold on to that site as well as they did and keep that man advantage constantly. Losing your inner player that's supposed to be peeking it, like that's supposed to be shoulder peeking it, or just, well, I'm not necessarily shoulder peeking, but just jiggling and trying to get info without dying so that they can release a smoke and fall back to make sure that they know that if anyone's crossed, should mean that you just like almost give up the round. 5v4 instantly, bomb plant for sure, but Kenny S was too quick on the rotate in and or to drop off and make sure that no one could cross. Very diligent of him. Now here's Shox to actually just op it, hoping that someone peeks into it, holding it a little bit. Crosshair placement. Holding it just wide enough, Nitro walks right through it, and they know that most of the time you're going to have someone just try to cross as opposed to straight up take the duel.
Yeah, great little shot there from Shox that gives them the early advantage as they have a tall mountain to climb. They have to win out if they want to win this map in regulation and get that 2-0 series. Even just one mistake means that they can only hope for overtime. Granted, they had that safety net. They won the first map, so it's not all doom and gloom, but obviously G2 would like to get there a bit faster and easier, you would imagine. We are seeing Kenny S here with the op, just scoping things out, but JDM and Elise sliding through Ivy, and Elise uses that distraction to be able to come up on Kenny S, up the ladder and grab the kill, and JDM fights as well. So now it's just gonna be Body trying to deny that one. He cannot do it. JDM is just wrecking everyone with this op right now in this game.
They had one leading out of T-Con, one leading out of Ivy, and they split 2 with 3 kills. And JDM was the opper at Ivy and got 3. Unreal. And they did this on basically a walkout, free of utility. This is something that you could, if you know that your opponents are low, a walkout can work really well. But also a walkout can bite you in the ass. So sometimes you want to do a full execute, press that utility advantage, but in that situation, they had called out the fact that there was no smoke T-Con, that they were given Ivy control, and just took advantage of it by group exploding. And wow, amazing.
I mean, this is probably the best map that JDM's had offline in a very long time.
Really?
I mean, I would think so. Like, I don't know what the exact rating statistic will be on this before it's all said and done, but if you just look back, like, this is the most dominant that he's looked in quite a while. Like, all his shots seem to be connecting. Everything seems to be going for him, and that's great news for Liquid, as they're just 1 round away from ensuring that 3rd map will be played to determine who's going to move on to that decider match later on this evening. As G2 don't have much left fight in them in this map, as Body goes for a peek, but Elige is there to greet him with that AK headshot, and so now it's going to be even closer for Liquid to find their way onto Nuke, as just that M4 on Kenny S and that FAMAS on Shox really is what G2 have left to work with. Maybe that CZ from MBK up close can find something.
5-on-4. A smoke, a flash between Shox and Kenny S. A flash and a T-Con. They're taking everything very safely. 34 seconds remain. They're going through T-Con with no ladder control. MBK is far back with a CZ, however. Kenny S going to take first contact, trade it out 1-for-1 with Elige. It's looking really good now for Liquid as this round shapes up. The ability to plant is there. They've got MBK. He's been spotted in ladder, so his position is slightly compromised. They're going to have Twist holding him. The headshot comes out, and the map is almost closed out, ladies and gentlemen. G2 will lose. Liquid win and bring it to a map 3. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, great performance from Liquid, particularly JDM with that AWP, played so well. But when you look at everyone else, I mean, Elige, Nitro, Twist weren't too far behind. No one went negative on the team. I mean, everyone really played up. G2 just really struggled there, man. I mean, MBK had a tough one, so did Body. I mean, it really felt like Shox and Kenny S were all that G2 had in that game the majority of the time. Most of the rounds they won were off the back of one of those 2 players making a great individual effort. So they just weren't really there. It's not the G2 we expected to see, particularly on Train, where they should have more experience that should lead to them having a better chance. But no matter what the data told us, it didn't happen that way. Like, Liquid just played an excellent game. They were absolutely dominant. That's one of the most dominant maps we've seen, with the exception of maybe that one map between Heroic and Luminosity on Nuke. You know, this was crazy dominant. Yeah,
which is so surprising of all maps for it to happen on Train. And I wonder if that means that we're going to see more consistency out of Liquid on Train, because their setups are really good. It seemed like they were doing stuff that was just really good. I mean, apart from everybody getting frags on top of that, they seemed very good.
I think they did a good job just limiting the economy of G2, limiting their options. Again, they like to run double op on T-side. They never got to do that. They did really good disrupting, you know, just making big plays, and JDM was just hitting shots all across the board. So props to them. Now we go on to Nuke next, which is going to be a map that both teams are quite comfortable on, though it seems like G2 has the better results overall. But we learned on Train, maybe that doesn't quite matter in this series, but we'll have to wait a little bit longer to find out. So stay tuned. We'll be back with Nuke in just a moment.